Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, Ndindi Nyoro is the former chair of Budget and Appropriation Committee. Of course, as of now, I think we have someone by the name Sama Tandi. And yesterday, Ndindi Nyoro attended the event at Institute of Public Finance Review. And there's so many things that Ndindi Nyoro mentioned out, which turned out to be a means that's used to communicate to William Ruto. By the way, he's exposing this regime. But first of all, before we go into that, there was a question that Leto asked Ndindi Nyoro when he was removed as the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriation Committee, that if you are still serving in the capacity of the chair of Budget and Appropriation Committee, would you still approve the budget of 72 billion Kenyan shillings for chapati? Ndindi Nyoro just laughed.
Take another round. Let's talk.
Let me start. If you continued serving as the chair for budget, my name is Stephen Leto, Citizen TV. If you continued serving as the budget chair, will you allocate in the 2025-2026 financial year 72 billion shillings for chapati?
Let me take a few more. Yes, my brother. That cannot be answered alone.
My name is Daniel Sare from Daily Trends. What do you regret as a national leader in terms of what you were doing, the post that you were holding, and because you've spoken about what you achieved, what did you not achieve that you wanted to achieve?
Let me answer those two because I want to be precise. Leto, I don't know where you got that math from, and I don't know whether you're asking about Keharu because we do that in our day schools. We offer that in our day schools once a month. Is it a Keharu question or a national question? Since I am not here now, let me not hypothesize on what I would do if I was one now. But Murisikia hiyo sorry Aretho. You want to box me in a corner, I'll answer you that in camera. Because I also don't want to deflect from this. It's a good question, but I also don't want to wander so far.
Now, why was Ndindi Nyoro laughing? Now, another question again. It's not a question, by the way. Ndindi Nyoro made another argument yesterday that as a politician, there is something he learned. That one would spend a lot of time fixing politics and not dealing with the work that you are elected to do. You spend more time in politics, the issue of social media, dealing with the people, but you are not doing the role that you are assigned to do. At the end of the day, you find out that you have delivered too little. I'm just wondering, who is Ndindi Nyoro communicating it to? Ni nani huyu anamuongelea?
You can spend a lot of time fixing your politics and you neglect the role at which you are actually elected to do. That's something profound that I learned in my first 2 years. That you can spend a lot of time trying to fix your competitor, trying to fix and follow where the person who may want your seat has gone to, trying to silence somebody, maybe in social media or elsewhere, provoking you to do something better. Or you can actually choose to spend that time doing the work itself. And I realized it is very important that as a leader, you focus on something that can stand the test of time. Because, for example, when we have an argument with Dr. Rugo here, whom is also my good friend, if we have an argument here on words will not go past that argument. But if there is some deliverable, you do something tangible, it will go beyond the argument, it will go beyond words. And I realized that it is important you spend your time as a leader addressing the issues that are not necessarily things that you are proving through word of mouth, but things you'll do that are all seasonal. And these things that are all seasonal are the deliverables you do around the sectors that you should be working.
Now, I want us to go into the argument about the finances of this country. I mean, the budget, the issue of repaying the debt, and how this country might be heading into a wrong direction of defaulting on their debt as far as the Ndindi Nyoro warning is concerned. But before we go deep into this, I have a quick request for those who are watching this channel and you have not yet subscribed. Please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to our discussion.
Budget is not the one we read. This is the hard truth. The budget of Kenya is called exchequer. The budget is not the one we read. The one we read remains there. When you have a country where there is a discrepancy between what you budget for and how much you can raise as revenue. So what you budget for is not the budget. What you fund is the budget. When you are in a household budget and you have what you want to achieve, you want to build a house in Githurai, you want to build your rural home, you want to buy a car, that is what is the budget. Then, after that, those are aspirations. What can you fund out of your revenue? That is the real budget. So, the things that I was seeing, some semantics about absorption. That word called absorption, you need to actually juxtapose it from absorption to not funded. Those nice words about absorption and absorption, it basically means more than 95% that those programs were actually not funded by the close of the financial year.
Now, soon, President William Samoei Ruto will be heading to China. And when Ruto goes to China, you know what it means. Maybe looking for more money, borrowing, or renegotiating on debt repayment. That means you might be heading to defaulting. So, when we get a take, it's all about money. That is it. And Ndindi Nyoro is here to warn the country that we might default if we are not careful. And there is something he revealed in the story shared about the economy of this country. The last 10 years, the country debt raised from 2 trillion Kenyan shillings to 11 trillion Kenyan shillings. So imagine within 10 years, tulikuwa tuko na deadline hiyo poop. Domestic borrowing 54%. That is 5.87 trillion Kenyan shillings. And external borrowing 46%, 5 trillion. You put it together, 10.9 trillion Kenyan shillings. Now, when you look at this, you find out that banks in this country will not be hawking money like what they used to do during Kibaki's time. Why? Because the government is already salvaging to borrow this money. Sasa uelewe kwa nini wewe kupata loan si tu rahisi kama kitambo. Because the domestic borrowing is too much compared to external borrowing. Now, during Ruto's time, amehesabu tu miaka kama 2 inaelekea 3, the debt has grown by 2 trillion Kenyan shillings. From 8 trillion to 10.9 trillion. So, it tells you that this administration is having so much appetite for the borrowing. One question I ask myself, by the rate in which this administration is borrowing, can you ever tell us one tangible, serious project initiated by William Ruto yenye amefanya? Sababu kwa Uhuru tuliona super highway, tukaona mambo ya SGR, tumeona mambo mengi tu, mabarabara zimejengwa. In fact, Uhuru built more roads than Kibaki himself. Na Ruto je? Lakini madeni yanapanda. Now, the 2025-2026 budget is estimated at 4.2 trillion Kenyan shillings, of which 1 trillion will be required to finance interest on debt. Yani hiyo tu ni ya kulipa interest ya madeni. 1 trillion. That's not a change for Mandazi. Sio billion, trillion. That means 750 billion Kenyan shillings will go into paying domestic debt interest ya hapa Kenya, walipe kwa banks na vitu zingine. 200 billion Kenyan shillings external debt interest. Hiyo ni interest, ulipi deni. Tukifika hapa tuko safe. Nyoro is arguing that borrowing should be for development, but the money we borrow, some goes for the budget support, that is recurrent budget, mishahara na mambo mengine. Are we safe kukopa pesa ya recurrent budget, vitu ambazo sio za maendeleo kama miundo msingi, labda ya barabara, mijengo na nini, lakini tunakopa tu? So, again, this administration has been so much on increasing taxes. Ndindi Nyoro's argument is that, which is very true, watu wa economy watuambie, when you increase taxes, some people want to spend their money, then they see your taxes are high. Ukikalkulate unapata ya kwamba nikinunua gari ama kitu fulani, taxes yenye analipa ni kama so huge amount, like half the price of that. So if you are supposed to spend your money, you don't spend, you keep it. So they will lose to collect taxes. Lakini wangekuwa wameweka bei iko karibu sawa, watacollect ushuru na watu wengi watanunua. So you are expanding the tax bracket. This time round, Ndindi Nyoro was oozing wisdom.